Beach resorts are the ultimate escape, offering sun, sand, and luxury all in one breathtaking package. Today, we're taking a trip around the world to unveil the 15 most amazing beach resorts. Number 15. One and Only Mandarina. While most beach resorts, more or less, follow a similar seaside layout, One and Only Mandarina is different than most. It's located in the hills of Mexico's Riviera Nayarit. It places itself a little farther from the beach than most other beach resorts. However, it nevertheless has an incredibly private beach alongside a traditional sweat lodge and a restaurant designed by legendary chef Enrique Oliveira. So, if you want a great resort that's going to take you on a trip away from the outside world, One and Only is the place for you. Number 14. The Turtle Inn. Owned by famed director Francis Ford Coppola, Belize's Turtle Inn is a unique retreat. It's made up of 25 thatch roof cottages. It's got luxury features like hand-carved doors and Japanese baths, while its pizzeria gives a bit of an Italianissimo. Meanwhile, its pools, beachside bar, and lobster feasts make for a relaxing stay, while the warm-hearted staff treat you just as they would the Coppolas, like returning family. Best of all, at a price of about $400 a night, it is relatively reasonable by this list standards. Number 13. Trawara. While Phuket, Thailand, has seen increasing development, Trawara is one of the few resorts in the area to provide quiet sanctuary. Tucked away on the island's quiet northwestern jungle, its villas offer beautiful seaside views along a private beach. Trawara also offers a 45-meter-long saltwater pool and the restaurant Prue, where Dutch chef Jimmy Ophorst earned Thailand's first Michelin Green Star for its zero-waste tasting menu. Complete with locally sourced ingredients such as black crab from Phang Na and caviar from Hua Hin, a meal here is to die for. Number 12. 6 Cents Bay. In recent years, Vietnam has become wildly popular, and 6 Cents Bay is one of the country's most luxurious offerings. Guests can enjoy private 1,600-square-foot water pool villas with handmade wooden amenities, a private mini pool, and direct access to the water. If you prefer to be a bit closer to shore rather than right over the water, you can instead go for the Rock Pool Villa, which has many of the same amenities while also having a bit more space and a wine cellar. However, at about $945 a night, 6 Cents Bay is far more expensive than most other accommodations in the country. Number 11. Marbella Club. In the 1950s, Prince Alfonso von Hohenlohe acquired a small fishing village nestled between the sea and the mountains of southern Spain. He soon transformed it into a hotel, and since 1954, it served as a sanctuary for the wealthiest in society. Today, it's got around 115 rooms and suites, as well as 15 villas, where traditional Andalusian architecture blends with splendid gardens and pathways leading to the sea. 2 heated outdoor pools, a beach club, and a wellness center, plus a golf course, tennis courts, and an equestrian center, and even a kids club and 8 dining areas complete this paradise, making it the perfect place for a luxury stay. Number 10. La Posta Vecchia. In recent years, international brands have increasingly entered the Italian market. However, La Posta Vecchia in Italy has been associated with luxury for millennia. As far back as the 2nd century BC, the property was used as a villa by Roman emperors. Then, in 1640, it was rebuilt as a Renaissance villa for the noble Orsini family, who were famous for having no less than 5 popes come from its lineage. In 1960, American oil tycoon Paul Getty purchased the place, filling it with Italian artistic treasures. Finally, in the 1980s, the property became the family home of Roberto Schio. He enjoyed it for years, but when it fell into the hands of his daughter Marie Louise, she did us all a great service by turning the private property into a hotel. And after years of renovations, it finally opened to the public in 2023. Visitors can enjoy Roman mosaics, a gym, and a slew of ancient Roman ruins and recipes. It's got an amazing private beach, and in 2025 the plan is for it to unveil a second private beach. Meanwhile, Marie Louise's insightful touch can be seen throughout, be it the vases by Ettore Sotas, the Fret Sheets collaboration, or the Villeroy and Bach crockery set that holds the breakfast placed on the glorious sea-facing terrace. This hotel is dressed to impress. Best of all, maybe due to its recent opening, it's relatively affordable. At about $750 a night, it is unlikely you'll find many better deals for such luxurious accommodation anywhere else in Italy. So if you're willing to give the seaside of Lazio a try, despite it not being as viral or well-known as some of Italy's other seaside spots, then this hotel might be the one for you. Number 9. Lizard Island Resort. Located 200 kilometers north of Cairns, Australia, the rather secluded Lizard Island Resort is the pinnacle of luxury. It's located directly on the Great Barrier Reef. Its beauty can be accessed by putting on a snorkel and swimming just offshore. However, if you want a more involved, personal experience, Lizard Island Resort's got your back. It offers snorkeling lessons, half and full day reef tours, and kayak and snorkel tours. If snorkeling and scuba diving aren't your thing, then you can take advantage of the region's incredible fishing, as the resort offers charters for both in-reef and out-of-reef fishing, both of which allow you to catch varying sets of fish that include mackerel, tuna, sailfish, and mahi-mahi. If all this still doesn't tickle your fancy, you can enjoy a slew of other activities too. Those include but are not limited to trips on motorized dinghies, glass-bottom sea kayaking, and stand-up paddleboarding. Meanwhile, the villa itself is unique. The rooms are bright and airy and have high ceilings and, depending on the room, either views of the sea or lookouts onto vibrant gardens. Out of sight on its own jagged outcrop of granite rocks is The House, which is a brutalist concrete and copper 3-bedroom private villa. Now, if all this wasn't cool enough, the resort even has a Lizard Island research station that's headed by a husband and wife duo, and it was opened in 1973, and it serves as one of the world's leading reef research facilities on a luxury resort. This all makes a stay here one that would be difficult to forget. Number 8. Ryu Republic. If you're looking to party and you want a crazy experience in the heart of the Caribbean, then you can't go wrong with the legendary Ryu Republic. Part of the famed Ryu lineup of resorts, it stands apart for some of the brand's other offerings by being both all-inclusive and adults only. Located in Punta Cana, the Eastern Dominican Republic, it's known for allowing people of all pay brackets to party on a budget without compromising on offerings. In terms of what's included, all visitors get access to a fully stocked buffet with offerings such as American breakfast, pizzas, pastas, salads, and even a jerk station. If you're willing to pay a bit extra, you can enjoy some more upscale fare. This includes an Asian buffet, Italian buffet, and Indian buffet, a Spanish a la carte restaurant, a steakhouse, and a romantic open-air diner spot. And while the food is varied, this may be the hotel's weak spot. After all, the reviews on food quality are a bit spotty, and many visitors have said that if fine dining is your goal, Ryu Republic may not be the place for you. But what Ryu Republic gets top marks for are its parties. Attracting people of all ages due to its low price point, this is the perfect place to go wild. On offer are unlimited local and imported beverages 24 hours a day, with some of these including periodic top-shelf offerings. There's also a mini bar and a restocked liquor dispenser allowing you to drink to your heart's desire at all times of the day. Once you had your fill though, you can then make your way to the parties, held at the beach, the pools, or in its water park with 4 water slides. These parties have various themes. Some include a jungle party, a white party, pink party, and a neon party, and the dress code is different for all 4. But what's common across them is a lot of foam, a lot to drink, and overall a great time. Oh yeah, it's worth mentioning that if you have a bit more coin to spend and are looking for another place to party in Punta Cana, the area has a lot of other great options too. These include the Breathless, which is a bit more upscale, and TRS Cap Cana, which is a similarly luxurious place. However, no matter what you pick, the reality is that if you like to party, you'll have a great time here. Moving on to number 7, the Moraca. If you're looking to sleep with the fishes, but you don't want to deal with a mafia hitman, then Moraca is the place for you. This is located in the Maldives. In November of 2018, it became one of the world's first underwater hotels. It's connected by a long jetty to the Hilton Conrad Maldives Rangali Island Resort. It's got every luxury necessary for a top-tier vacation. Once you arrive, there are several room options available. However, the Moraca is the most luxurious of the bunch. The private floating room features an outdoor deck, infinity pool, a tub facing the ocean, a gym, a 24-hour butler, private chef, a security detail, an on-call fitness trainer, access to spa treatments, and of course private jet skis. Yet while all that's pretty cool, its unique underwater bedroom gets it a spot on this list. It's located about 5 meters underwater. It's a 180-degree curved acrylic dome surrounded by floor-to-ceiling windows. This gives you a clear view of the fish outside, allowing you to feel as if you're sleeping underwater. To top all this off, guests can also choose to go on a number of excursions, with that including everything from snorkeling and diving trips to adventures to nearby atolls. Now, while all this may put the Moraca on the top of your bucket list, chances are you don't got the coin to afford it. That's because at a price of about $50,000 just for one night, it's one of the world's most elite hotel rooms, and it's far out of reach for most tourists. However, it is worth mentioning that this resort also has rooms available for those who don't want to spend a fortune. While still expensive, some of its offerings are a bit more reasonable. One such room is the 2-bedroom deluxe beach villa with the pool. Now, that features a sunlit master bedroom with floor-to-ceiling glass windows and a connecting second bedroom with twin beds and built-in wardrobes. It offers you the opportunity to relax and lay in the lap of luxury for the much lower price of $1,325 a night. However, if that's still too much for you and you're looking for something a bit smaller and more intimate, the Sunrise Water Villa may be for you. Located right on the water, these thatched roof bungalows come complete with a private deck, a private whirlpool on that deck, and a staircase going down into the water. Best of all, at $700 a night, this bungalow is relatively reasonable by this hotel standards. Number 6. Kalala Island. Located off the coast of Nicaragua, Tim and Sarah Wickham purchased Kalala Island from the Nicaraguan government in 1997. From there, they quickly got to work developing it into an all-inclusive private resort. It's now home to 6 guest bungalows at the beachfront that can accommodate up to 12 people at the time. Meant to straddle the line between super luxurious and eco-friendly, it's not the type of opulent that comes to mind when you think of a luxury hotel. After all, Kalala Island has no air conditioning nor marble floors. However, what it lacks in opulence, it makes up for in seclusion. You see, this island puts a very big emphasis on sustainability and supporting the local economy. Everything on the island, from the accommodations to the communal areas, was designed with the intention of being easy to one day discard. This may sound strange at first, but the thinking behind this is that by building things in this easy-to-discard way, the island could be returned to the way the owners found it when the hotel eventually closes its doors. In the spirit of this idea, few things are a bit different here about this island. Beyond the lack of air conditioning, all electricity is provided by solar panels. Meanwhile, all the food and drink on the island is sourced from local communities, and the resort staff is hired from local villages. The island's also known for having its top-tier service. Now, while you won't have access to a private butler, as you might at other resorts, what you do have are staff that are constantly attending to you. So much so that even travelers who have had butlers in other hotels have commented that the service at Kalala Island was better than the norm. The staff will also make everything fresh, even your cocktails, with some freshly squeezed rather than bottled juice. When you further factor in the natural beauty, it's not hard to see how this set of bungalows is top-tier. But that's not to say there aren't a few downsides. After all, the lack of AC means that things do run a bit hot, and due to the low-impact setup, there are a fair number of flies. Well, further still, the atmosphere of the island has been described as having a summer camp vibe. In other words, talking with other travelers is encouraged, and it means that while the resort is secluded, it's not a great spot for those who are antisocial. However, if you can get past those peculiarities, then between its 25 staff, bar, 2 restaurants, and helipad, Kalala Island is the perfect place for you. However, at a price of about $3,700 a night, it's far out of the price range of the average Joe. Number 5. Hedonism II. If you're looking to get a bit risque, then you can't do much better than Hedonism II. Located in the Jamaican city of Negril, it's a resort that combined luxury with an adults-only environment that invites couples to explore. On one hand, the resort grounds are incredible. The entire place is all-inclusive and it features several open bars, 3 specialty cuisine restaurants, beachside grills, and a buffet-style dining terrace. And once you're done dining, you can relax on Jamaica's world-renowned 7-Mile beach, or, if you prefer, float around in one of the resort's 6 pools. And while the entire beach is incredible, what makes Hedonism II special is that it has a very lax attitude towards clothing. While the dining areas, lobby, gift shop, and gym require you to be fully dressed, there is no such rule at the beach and pool areas. And as you might imagine, these rules attract a certain clientele, and as its name suggests, Hedonism II fully plays into their clients' desires. Between its playroom and its theme nights that include casino night, hedonistic pop culture, and ancient antics, the hotel is a great place for people of all stripes to relax and have fun. This place has a reputation for attracting swingers, and while predominantly marketed towards couples, it offers rooms to hopeful singles for 150% of the normal rate. And in case Hedonism II is a bit much for you, you can even opt to visit with a day or night pass, allowing you to temporarily join in on the fun without committing. It is worth noting that despite being in an incredible place to stay, there is trouble in paradise. You see, Hedonism II can accommodate a maximum of 3 guests per room. Thanks to Jamaica's anti-LGBTQ laws, it's impossible for the hotel to accommodate bookings with 2 males, 3 males, or 2 males and 1 female. This in turn effectively forces some LGBT couples to book 2 rooms or take their business to another country. So therefore, if you're not straight, it may not be the best place to stay. It's also worth noting that while you're looking for an adult-only experience, it's similar, but perhaps a bit more laid back. The Caribbean is home to some other great options. These include the Sans Souci in Jamaican city of Ocho Rios and the Temptation in the Mexican city of Cancun, both of which have slightly different specialties. However, no matter which of the 3 you choose, it's almost guaranteed that you, your significant others, and the others you'll meet will all have a great time. Number 4. Raiatea. In recent years, the over-the-ocean bungalow has become a popular sell amongst luxury tourists. Interestingly, it is said that the first people to actually put this concept into action as a hotel were a trio of Americans. Known as the Bali High Boys, they consisted of stockbroker Jake Carlisle, lawyer Hugh Kelly, and salesman Don Mook McCallum. Tired of the conservative slog of Dwight D. Eisenhower's corporate America, they wanted something different for themselves. Inspired by James A. Michener's Tales of the South Pacific, they decided to take the plunge and set up a shop in Tahiti. In order to get there, Hugh crewed a yacht across the Pacific. Once there, the 3 found a vanilla plantation on the island of Moraca. Unfortunately for the 3 men, though, very soon after acquiring the property, the price of vanilla crashed. Well, dejected, they looked for a new opportunity. Fortunately for them, they met a local politician with a rundown hotel, and with the help of their negotiation and sales skills, made a deal with him, securing a set of 5-year visas along 4 beat-up bungalows that they planned to turn into new luxury accommodations. Now, it's worth noting at this point, Tahiti really wasn't on the map. After all, the age of pre-jet travel, it was a pretty hard place to get to. However, in 1962, a photographer from Life magazine visited the boys. While he had planned to stay at their place for a night, he ended up sticking around for 3 weeks. By all accounts, he had a blast, and upon his return, he featured the trio in the December issue of the magazine. This made the Bali High Boys overnight celebrities. The resort expanded to 65 units, and over time they continually brought more properties. However, it was in 1967 that they made their iconic innovation, an overwater bungalow in the lagoon of Raiatea. Inspired by the traditional Polynesian thatched-roofed hut, they built 3 on the water's edge to give their guests direct lagoon access. This type of accommodation exploded in popularity. Today, the design's gotten so popular that there are more than 900 overwater bungalows scattered across Tahiti's 118 islands. Most are incredibly luxurious, featuring top-tier amenities and interesting touches like glass floors and the over-the-ocean hot tub. As you might imagine, big names have gotten into the business, and now new hotels such as the Intercontinental Bora Bora offer more luxurious accommodations than what's offered by the Bali High Boys. And while the offerings of the Bali High Boys may not be quite the upper crust, the Club Bali High Morea Hotel, which is run by the 2 surviving guys in the trio, is still an incredible place to stay and a perfect option for those who would like a luxury vacation with some historic chops. Number 3. The Hotel du Cap Eden Rock. For centuries, Europe's rich and famous have been vacationing on the French Riviera, and for much of that time, everyone from aristocrats to actors have been spending their days at the Hotel du Cap d'Eden Rock. The property was originally built in 1869 by Hippolyte de Villemessant. He was the founder of France's conservative Le Figaro newspaper and reportedly created the whole mansion as a sort of a seaside writer's retreat, where his employees could rest and gain inspiration. However, this arrangement didn't last for long, and in 1887, Italian hotelier Antoine Sella bought the property. He soon turned it into a hotel and got work making improvements. In 1914, the hotel's iconic saltwater pool was carved into a cliff, and in 1934, the nearby Eden Rock Pavilion was constructed. You see, up until this point in time, the French Riviera wasn't a summer destination. Rather, it was where the rich and wealthy would spend their winters. However, in the 1920s, American couple Gerald and Sarah Murphy rented the hotel for an entire summer, bringing with them many writers and artists of the lost generation. These included immortal figures such as F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway, and this proved to be great news for the hotel. After all, in 1934, Fitzgerald immortalized the hotel in his novel Tender is the Night. Later in 1938, the Kennedy family summered there, and over time, the hotel's stature rose. Since then, notables like Marlene Dietrich, Orson Welles, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, Winston Churchill, and Charles de Gaulle have all vacationed there, making it a landing spot for the who's who of Europe. It also has gone through some notable changes. After all, in 1944, it completely changed its purpose when it temporarily became a military hospital for Allied troops during World War II. After the war's end, American soldiers were stationed in Antibes to help restore the hotel to its former glory, and now it's just as glorious as it was in its early days. When it comes to amenities, the hotel is superb. It has a relatively low room count, though, of 117, but it's got 6 bars and 4 restaurants to serve its guests, with one being a 1-Michelin star establishment known as the L'Oroc restaurant. However, its newest is Giovanni's, opened in 2023. It's run by a Sicilian chef, Marco Tringali, in collaboration with consultant chef Jeremy Viale, who stands apart for being the 2-time world pizza champion and the 3-time pizza champion of France. However, a stay here is kind of pricey, and it's going to set you back several $1,000s a night. And if that wasn't crazy enough, it's also in high demand, making it incredibly difficult to even score a booking here. Yet if you're wealthy and you manage to pull it off, then you can't go wrong with a stay at this resort. Number 2. The Atlantis. When it comes to all-inclusives, few hotels are quite as incredible as the Atlantis. Located in the Bahamas on Paradise Island, it's a sprawling 2.5 square kilometer resort that has several incredible amenities. The resort has 5 hotel towers, each of which has a unique set of features that emphasizes a resort within a resort-type environment. The Harborside Resort is the farthest away from the main amenities, being connected to the rest of the resort with a shuttle. The Coral Tower is the oldest and least expensive, with somewhat outdated rooms, which, while luxurious, are not always as top tier as those other towers. Meanwhile, roughly in order of opulence are the iconic Royal Towers, Reef Tower, and the Cove Tower. While room rates vary based on the season, they vary greatly from room to room. After all, while the rooms at Coral Tower go for as low as $225 a night, the iconic bridge suite that connects the 2 Royal Towers goes for a whopping $25,000 a night, making it one of the most expensive hotel rooms on the planet. Once you get to the Atlantis, you can enjoy some amazing amenities. One of the most incredible is the resort's water park. While home to several incredible slides and attractions, the most famous by far is the Leap of Faith. Featured on the show The Amazing Race, the slide has an 18-meter tall peak with a near vertical drop. It sends riders at speeds about 56 kilometers an hour into a tank filled with Caribbean and hammerhead sharks. Now, while they are protected from the sharks by acrylic tubing, an accident on this slide would be disastrous. Now, if water parks aren't your thing, the resort still's got you covered. If you like to gamble, you can visit the Royale. This is a 60,000 square foot casino at the heart of the resort. It stands apart for being one of the largest in the Caribbean, and it includes 85 table games and over 700 slot machines. If you're looking to eat too, you can enjoy one of the many great restaurants. These include Bimini Road, which is known for its Bohemian specialties such as conch, fish by Jose Andres, which serves an extensive seafood menu, and Nobu, which offers a top-tier Japanese cuisine. If none of those are to your taste, you can instead go for more casual eats at restaurants such as Shake Shack and Ben & Jerry's. Perhaps the most notable things here is the aquarium-related attractions. After all, the resort is home to the largest open-air marine habitat in the world. In fact, it has 65,000 aquatic animals with 250 species, including dolphins, sharks, and stingrays. If this isn't your thing, you can instead head to one of the resort's 6 beaches, where you can snorkel and do water activities off the shore, or one of its 14 pools, where you can drink, float, and play around to your heart's content. You can also take advantage of the resort's golf course, or if you got deep pockets, use its marina that caters specifically to luxury yachts. However, do be warned, if you go for some of the more budget accommodations, you may not have quite the experience. After all, at some of the less luxurious rooms, guests have recently begun to report problems. And furthermore, even at the cheapest spots, the food is pretty expensive. Beer is $11, a burger $15, and everything comes with an automatic 25% gratuity for tax and tip. However, so long as you have a fair bit of money to spend, a stay here is probably totally worth it. Number 1. Petit St Vincent. Those of you who like geography have almost certainly heard of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's located in the Southeast Pacific. It's the bane of all trivia players, as its small size and location makes it a tricky spot to point out on a map. However, if you keep on zooming in even further, you can find a private island that's far less famous, yet far more exclusive than its larger cousin. Known as Petit St Vincent, or PSV for short, it's a small speck of land located within the larger country. For years, PSV was an uninhabited green dot on an endless blue map. However, in 1963, two ex-US Air Force flying buddies hatched an idea. After buying a 23-meter-long wooden schooner, they decided to start a yacht chartering business. After spending a few months getting to know their boat, the duo got their first paying customer, Ohio businessman H.W. Nichols. But Mr. Nichols wasn't just there for pleasure. He was on a mission to locate and buy a private tropical island on which he could build a small hotel. With this goal in mind, the three men set sail to explore the Grenadines, and at which time were home to at least 24 undeveloped islands of varying sizes. Now, at some point in the voyage, the team docked at the north shore of a serrated emerald island called Petit Martinique. This island wasn't for the taking. After all, it was first settled in 1700. However, on the other side of the channel sat another island that was, in Mr. Nichols' opinion, roughly shaped like a 1970s fretless heavy metal guitar. It was perfect for Mr. Nichols' purpose. Completely untouched and undeveloped, it offered protection from the Atlantic Ocean's wind and waves coming out of the east, and it was in beautiful condition. The owner was an older woman living on Petit Martinique, and initially she didn't want to sell it. But as the saying goes, everyone's got a price, and after being offered a boatload of cash and a promise that the hotel would be modest and the land respected, she sold to Mr. Nichols. He then hired Swedish architect Arne Hasselvisk to build the hotel, and in keeping with promise to the former owner, he agreed to build the hotel's 22 cottages, main reception, and pavilion in a traditional West Indian style. This not only meant that all the buildings would be bungalows, but it led to them being built with features such as exposed stone walls, wood that was sourced on site, pitched roofs, terracotta and limestone tile, and floor-to-ceiling archways. This layout was also revolutionary. Using a doctrine known as disconnected connectedness, the cottages were scattered in different locations based on sunshine and topography. Some were on hillsides, some on cliffs, and others right by the ocean. The designer's ultimate goal was to isolate each cottage from the others while also intertwining them with the island's beaches, bars, restaurants, and amenities in order to foster a walkable environment and a sense of community. Now, while the classical elements such as the cottages, tiling, and systems of running the place remain, new furniture and appliances have been retrofitted in. In recent years, new cool amenities have also been added, with these including one of only 2 Jean-Michel Cousteau dive centers worldwide and 5-star dining all at one's beck and call. And while the 2 new waves of ownership have led to slight changes in operations, the nice thing about PSV is that the original, purest version of a relatively untouched island is an ideal that has not been forgotten. If you're interested in going, you'll have to jump through a couple hoops. First and foremost, getting to it is a challenge. Since it doesn't have the space or topography for a runway, it has to be reached by boat. While this puts those without a boat at a distinct advantage, most guests use a different route, flying into Barbados, connecting to Union Island, and then having one of Petit St Vincent's private captains pick them up on a yacht. It's also pretty expensive. After all, at about $1,200 a night, it isn't a cheap place to stay. Yet if you have a fair quantity of cash burning a hole in your pocket, then PSV is the place for you. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Thank you to our channel members.